Hello friends, welcome again. Friends, in this video lecture, we are going to discuss the definition of criticism and we will see the differences between two types of criticism, inductive and judicial. But before we move ahead, I request all my viewers to please subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video on English language and literature, you will get the notification. So friends, with this request, let's begin. You all are the students of literature. And remember, where there is art, there is criticism. Art cannot exist without criticism. If somebody asks you when actually criticism had existed in the olden times, then remember friends, in the very olden times when the primitive man was living in the caves, in the jungle, in the forest, he used to draw some paintings. He used to paint the walls of his caves. And it is believed that criticism must have existed in those times. But friends, we are the students of English literature, and English literature actually began, English criticism actually began during the 16th century with Sir Philip Sidney, and then during the 17th century we come across the father of English criticism, and that is John Dryden. And I have given you this definition of criticism as given by John Dryden here on the screen. What criticism is? If somebody asks you this question, then remember friends, criticism is an art of interpreting art. Okay? Criticism, the critic examines the works of art, evaluates the works of art, and he tries to find out the values, the merits of that work of art. John Dryden believed that criticism was first instituted by Aristotle. You know Aristotle? Aristotle was a great Greek philosopher who, first of all, in the ancient Greek literature, he has given his critical views on poetry and art. Okay, so John Dryden believed that criticism was first established as a branch of knowledge, as a branch of art and literature by Aristotle in the ancient times. Okay, criticism is a standard of judging well. So the critic takes judgment. Okay, the critic finds out values, merits from that work of art, and the chiefest part of which is to observe those excellencies which delight a reasonable reader. The ultimate aim of literature is to delight the readers, and the critic's job is to find out those excellencies which delight the reader and to propagate those excellencies before the readers. Okay, so that is what John Dryden believed. Matthew Arnold, a 19th century Victorian critic, he has also given this definition of criticism. He said that criticism is a disinterested endeavor. Endeavor means effort, attempt. The critic tries, he attempts and his attempts are disinterested, means it is beyond his likes and dislikes. The critic does not allow his likes and dislikes to play the role while judging a work of art. Okay, so criticism is disinterested, means away from his likes, his dislikes, to learn and propagate the best that is known and thought of in the world. According to Matthew Arnold, it is the job of a critic to propagate, to publicize, okay, to make something public, what? The merits of that work of art, the best that is known and thought of in the world, and thus to establish a current of fresh and true ideas. So, the critic, according to Matthew Arnold, he establishes new ideas, he fetches the honey out of the flower. It is just like a honeybee. The critic is just like a honeybee who fetches some merits, some good ideas, and then he passes those good ideas and merits to the readers, to the world. Okay. Walter Pater, another Victorian critic, he also said that criticism is an art of interpreting art. Okay, so interpretation is the primary job of a critic. It serves as an intermediary between the author and the reader. So the critic is a link between the author and the reader. He explains the works of the author to the reader, and he explains the demands of the readers to the author. So that is the reason why Walter Pater said that the critic is a link between these two, the author and the reader. Okay. After having a look at these different definitions of criticism as given by various critics of English literature, first of all, let's have a look at different types of criticism available in English literature. As you can see here on the screen, there are various different types of criticism: legislative criticism, aesthetic criticism, judicial criticism, descriptive criticism, impressionistic criticism, psychological criticism, sociological criticism, archetypal criticism, inductive and comparative and textual and ontological criticism. Right? Friends, don't worry, we are not going to discuss all these different types of criticism in this video lecture. Today, we want to focus our attention on these two types of criticism, inductive and judicial. And we will also see the differences between these two. Let's begin with inductive criticism. Inductive criticism means what? Inductive critique, he does not look at some set rules or established norms or laws of literature. Okay, he discards all the set rules and principles while judging a work of art. The inductive critique approaches literature in the light of pure investigation. That means, say for example, there is a poem, okay, and the critic reads that poem, the critic interprets that poem not considering the laws of writing poetry. He considers the author's own laws on which the work is created. Okay, so he detaches himself with other established laws of writing poetry. This type of criticism examines a work of art and tries to find out the merits of that work of art, and he formulates new critical theory based on that work of art. Let me give you an example. Okay, during the 16th century, Elizabethan age, William Shakespeare wrote his own new type of comedy which was known as romantic comedies. Now, during the 16th century, the concept of comedy was existing, but that was the concept of ancient classical comedies. Okay, now Shakespeare did some innovations, some changes while writing comedies, and he altogether wrote a new type of comedy. Okay, now if you want to examine his comedy considering the classical norms, ancient norms of writing comedy, then you won't be able to take the correct judgment. Okay, so the inductive critique comes there and he examines Shakespearean comedies, okay, and he formulates new norms of writing comedy which is known as Shakespearean norms or Shakespearean laws of writing comedy. Okay, so inductive critique welcomes the changes, new changes, welcomes the uniqueness in that work of art, and he discards all the set olden rules of writing literature. Same is the case with Shakespeare's tragedies. Okay, Shakespeare violated, Aristotle. Before Shakespeare, Aristotle had also given some norms of writing tragedy. Aristotle believed that the dramatist must follow the unity of time, place and action while writing the drama. But Shakespeare has violated these norms and he wrote his tragedies in his own innovative manners. Okay, and still his works, his tragedies have become successful and popular, and readers love to read his tragedies. Okay, so the point is, in inductive criticism the focus is more on the individual genius and talent of the author. Okay, the inductive critique tries to understand the author's works and he tries to find out how the author's work contributes towards the enhancement of knowledge, towards the newness in art. Okay, so inductive criticism, the laws of art are found in the practice of the artist and not in the set rules. Okay, inductive criticism, you can say, is an open-hearted criticism. It is romantic in its approach and it invites all new things, all innovations in art and literature. But judicial criticism, friends, is very much different from the inductive criticism. The judicial criticism studies the laws given by the previous authors or previous critiques, okay, and then in the light of these laws he tries to find out whether this particular work of art is written, is following the olden norms or not. Okay, judicial criticism draws its conclusions about a work of art on the basis of some established norms, established parameters, established laws of writing literature. And that's why, it is believed that this kind of criticism is very narrow in its approach, very orthodox in its approach. Why? Because it does not invite newness, it does not invite uniqueness of the work of art. The judicial critique follows the ancient rules, ancient norms, ancient critical theories, and he tries to apply these theories on the work of art. And if he finds it out, he says it is a good work of art. Otherwise, he says it's not a good work of art. Okay? In this judicial criticism, there is always a danger of ignoring the uniqueness of the text and individual merits of the author. Why? Because here he does not invite innovations in art and literature. So friends, here we come to the end of this discussion. Let's say that inductive criticism and judicial criticism both are opposites, right? If one is the east, the other is the west. Inductive criticism is romantic and open-hearted criticism, and judicial criticism is classical and orthodox in its approach. Inductive critiques examines the works of art in its its merits without the predetermined theories and laws, right? But on the other hand, judicial critiques, they evaluate the works strictly on the basis of the available theories, laws and parameters given by the former critiques. So friends, I hope the idea is clear now. If you have any doubts or questions, do write to me in the comment section of this channel, and please share this video among all your friends of English literature. Thank you very much.